All right, guys, tonight, part 2 of Michael Jackson's documentary, Leaving Neverland, will air on HBO. It follows 2 men who accused Michael Jackson of sexual abuse when they were just young boys. But now there's more. After that airs tonight, there's another special on HBO. Let's get over to Raquel Villanueva with news at the moment.
That's right, Jeff. Oprah's interview with Michael Jackson's accusers, Wade Robson and James Safechuck, will air tonight. In it, she asked Wade why he's still associated with Jackson. Watch.
Can you explain to people why you want to continue the association if you have been abused?
I had no understanding of it being abuse. You know, I loved Michael. And all the times that I testified and, you know, the many, many times that I gushed over him publicly in interviews or whatever it may be, that was from a real place.
Mm-hmm. Jackson's fans are now targeting Oprah, tweeting hate-filled messages, maintaining his innocence, and sparking a Mute Oprah hashtag. Her special After Neverland will air right after part 2 of the documentary at 10 p.m. Eastern Time tonight.
Thank you, Raquel. Before we get into this, we have a little insight right here. You were actually at that taping.
Yes, I was. So here's the thing. Regardless of what you believe to be the truth, Oprah has always been very honest about the fact that she is a victim of child abuse at an early age, from 13 on. And she has been transparent about that. To give someone a platform who is claiming to have the same experiences is kind of her responsibility. And I don't think there was ever a time that it was like bashing Michael Jackson in that room in terms of coming from her. I think what she was doing was opening up a conversation, and she talks a lot about, and you should watch it because everybody wants to jump to conclusions before they know anything or have seen or heard anything. But really, it's out there for public information to make sure that the allegations, if they're true or not, they're true in some capacity to someone. And the fact of the matter is there are victims of child sexual abuse every single day, perhaps even in your family, and people don't even know what to look for. So what Oprah was doing was giving this conversation a platform. So before you start jumping to conclusions and muting people and not knowing what you're talking about, I would strongly suggest that you use these tools because they're very solid tools, and perhaps you could save your child.
Exactly. And in all fairness, I watched part 1 of the documentary last night. There was no Michael Jackson bashing. They were telling their side, and the 2 men involved in this allegation were very complimentary towards Michael Jackson, just like you saw in that little clip. I loved Michael. I was in love with Michael. There was no abuse there on their part. Again, part 2 airs tonight. I'm going to continue watching. I went into this, and I remember if you guys tuned in last week, I went into this with a bias, hoping this was not true with Michael Jackson. I didn't want this to be true. I grew up with Michael Jackson. He was a hero of mine. I'm sure everyone else out there too. When you watch the documentary, and now I have 2 small boys, I had a complete 180 change of heart. I believe these young men. I believe their stories were too similar, and I actually blame the parents, if anything. If you don't want to believe there was abuse going on, believe that leaving your child with an adult man when you're 7 years old and leaving for days on end is wrong. That's bad parenting.
Right. No, you're right.
What I have to ask you, because going on reading the comments in social media, there are a lot of people who, like you said, are upset with the Oprahs, who are upset with these 2 guys. During these Q&As, and without giving, just giving out the entire situation that happened, did she ever ask them, or especially Wade, why did he testify under oath in 2005?
All of that is addressed, and it's also important to note that the audience was filled with sexual survivors of childhood abuse and the people that supported them. So that conversation is very well-rounded, and again, it's an amazing tool. So before you start muting people, I would suggest you at least know what you're talking about.
Last question, do you think she's going to talk to anyone from the Jackson estate? Do you think she sits them down and allow them to refute some of these allegations?
I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah. And watch the documentary, watch the special before you make your opinions, because I think a lot of people are saying mute Oprah just because they're fans of Michael Jackson, and trust me, I felt the same way you did going into this whole thing. So just watch it, make your own opinion.
And good luck muting Oprah.
All right.